Hey, I'm the NetherRealm Nobody, and this is the Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm, Episode 12, Abandoned Review. Alrighty, so Jax kind of moping in this episode, and basically he gets himself kidnapped by Ermac and his clan. But don't worry, the defenders are there to save the day. So, alrighty, so we start things off. We got a massive battle between the defenders and the Shokans. And again, I will always point out when our defenders just straight up kill their enemies. We get a scene where Jax grabs Shokan. Imagine how big these Shokans are, by the way. They're massive four-armed beasts, but Jack, gets his metal arm wrapped around dude and just squeezes, and you hear the crunch, and then he just discards him. And then we get to a point where you see them all fighting, and they're all using their special powers and special moves and all that stuff. And Sub-Zero looks at Stryker. He's like, "Hey, you gotta close that rift." And so you see some more Shokans coming through. Stryker comes in like a badass, knocks them all through the portal, goes to seal it. And Sub-Zero says, "Hey, the rest have already been taken care of." What? He said there's no more. That's what it was, too. There's no more. Go ahead, seal the rift. And it's like, holy shit, they just killed him. They straight up murdered the Shogun. This is a war, people. We're not playing around anymore. So anyways, they seal the rift. It starts raining. We find out that Jax's grandfather has passed away, and worse yet, they've already had the funeral for him. And so Jax is really feeling bad because he's like, I've been here fighting so much that, news of my grandfather didn't even reach me until after his funeral. And so Sonya's trying to console him and everything, and at that point, he even kind of says, like, this isn't about this thing, because everybody's like, we all need a vacation. He's like, it's not about vacation for me. Like, I just want to be done with this. So when they get back to the headquarters, and of course, at this point, Sonya's feeling really, she's shaken by this whole thing. She's sad. It's her, her best friend. And so, Jax pretty much just says, you know what, I'm going to leave for a while. No more metal arms. He's got like a jacket on, or a nice little button-up shirt. Almost a pop collar. Not quite, but almost. But he's saying he's done and everything. And he's leaving. So they all kind of leave. There's a bit of a tearful goodbye with Sonya. She kisses him and then walks away. Of course, at this point, as he's, it's not, because there's another rift. Of course, he's like, go on, you're good. Not a big deal. He pets Kiva one last time, and then when Nightwolf looks at him, he tells Nightwolf, "Listen, I didn't want to say something on Sonya, but, like, I'm gone for good. Like, I'm not coming back." Which I thought he kind of made clear back in the monsoon, but whatever. So, but then Raiden comes down, kind of tries to be like, "Hey, listen, this is your destiny." But Jax is over it, and so Raiden kind of gives his blessing, like, "Fine, I hope you find what you're looking for out there." And then even he admits, "I'm gonna miss you," which is another great little moment there. So we kind of did a time jump, because the next scene it's literally Jax with, I guess, his new girlfriend Ruby, and but then he's like, these last few months, I was like, whoa, or last few weeks, I'm just like, man, this has been going on for a minute now. Like, we jumped into this. You find out that him and Ruby was actually taking care of his grandfather in his final days or whatever, and so he kind of hooks up with her, and she's pumping all these questions and everything, trying to figure what do you do for a living, all this stuff. And while this is going on, we see Shao Kahn, and he's just like, yep, she's doing her plan. We got Ruby on our side. Like, he just spells it all out for us. And then he looks at Ermac. Now, here's where it just bugs me to no end. He's like, go ahead and, get him. Get Jax. He refers to him as Ermac. And throughout the episode, they're going to refer to him as Ermac. The problem is, there's a bunch of red ninjas. And we've already established these red ninjas in a previous episode where they didn't refer to him as Ermac. So I guess he wasn't part of those ninjas. But there's no way to differentiate Ermac from the others. It's very much like, was it Carbrak? The Baraka ripoff? The new leader of the Nomads? There's no way to tell which one's which. And the same goes for Reptile, I guess, was with the other reptilians. It's like, you can't tell who's who. Like, the only one who's done it good so far, at least with Cyrax's Sector, all the other cyborgs are all gray. And then with Shiva, the Shokons are all different. Like, they're not just like in one uniform. They're all got different, distinct looks to them. And it's just weird because throughout this fight, I mean, there's only one of them that talks, and at one point they refer to him as Ermac. But outside that, I'm just thinking, like, okay, is that supposed to be Ermac? Oh no, is that supposed to be? You don't know. You just don't. I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like it. You could have had all the ninjas. I know it's like Smoke's colors, but since Smoke is now officially a cyborg, you could have made all the ninjas just gray or black, not like shadowy black, because that's noob. But you could have had them all something different. White, even. No one's taken white yet. You could have had a bunch of white ninjas. And then that way you could tell who the leader is. But I don't know. So anyways, I don't like that aspect of this at all. But anyways, while this is all going on, Sonya's wanting Nightwolf to go spy on Jax. Which is kind of creepy, but it does save Jax's life, so whatever. But you can tell Sonya is jealous right off the bat. And they do kind of play like some saxophone sex music while Ruby and Jax are kind of hanging out. But, Sonya's pissed right off the bat. You know how Sonya gets. Anyways, there's a rift, and they find out, holy crap, it's heading towards Jax. And so at that point, we see Ermac and the other red ninjas break through. They're fighting. Ermac even unmasked at one point. Like, I guess he don't quite have the story. I'm not sure when that storyline happened when he was like, I think it was in the, he wasn't in 3, he was in, was it Trilogy or was it Ultimate? I think it was Ultimate 3 he made his thing. Did they establish in Ultimate 3 that he had, all the other souls of the fallen warriors were in his body or whatever? I don't know. But here, he's like a normal dude. Like, at one point, he just takes his mask off. He's like, yep, you did good. Shao Kahn's gonna be happy. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, I don't know. I get it. If this came out before that, they just knew there was an Ermac character. They probably had carte blanche to do whatever the hell they wanted, but it's just like, Anyways, past all that. Whenever Jax is fighting them all off, he turns around because he's trying to protect Ruby, but Ruby sprays him, takes him down. Turns out, oh my gosh, he's bad all along. When Kitana sees this, she recognizes Ruby from her past. And apparently she betrayed her people, betrayed Kitana, and, here she is now. I should mention now, doing my research on this episode, that I seem like there's like 3 different elements of her personality they kind of carried on, in a sense. I guess initially this was supposed to be Jade, which would have made sense because she's a character that's already established in the video games at this point. And she's even dark complected like they made Jade in the video games as well. But for whatever reason, they just decided to go for another stone and call her Ruby instead. So I don't quite get that, but whatever. So that's one of the origins I read. But then, clearly she's in all red. She looks like a female Ermac, really. But the fact that she's kind of like a red female ninja, that kind of falls in line with Scarlet, which would happen, I forget when she debuted, but later in the game. And then she betrayed her own people, kind of like Tanya, or the Tanya. I don't know how you pronounce it. I've only read it. I've never seen her or heard her name spoken out loud, I guess. But Tanya, I'll say Tanya. Because that's her storyline, that she betrayed the Adenian people. So they got a lot of elements into this one character right here, which to my knowledge, Ruby has never made an appearance outside the show. So anyway, but her DNA is out there in all these different characters. With the exception of maybe Jade, because Jade came before her. But either way. So, they formulate a plan. They're going to head out there. Of course, Raiden has to once again tell everybody, hey, remember, I can't go with you. I have no powers out there. It's like his whole shtick. He just can't wait to tell them, oh, I can't go out there. I bet he can. I bet his powers are perfect in all these other realms. He's just a lazy fucker. He don't want to go out there. That's my theory. I'm sticking with it. Anyways, so they all fly out there. As soon as they get there, Ermac and his armies like laser blasted them. They got like red lasers coming out of their fists. It's crazy. They fight them off, and basically Liu Kang, Stryker, and Sub-Zero kind of hold them off, while Nightwolf, Sonya, and Kitana go to get Jax. Because they realize that even though they're in Outworld, they're in forget the name of it. Empire? The Empire Realm or whatever, which I thought realm meant like a different world, but they're an outworld. So maybe it's a region. I don't know. But either way, that's where Ruby grew up. So now they believe that that's where he went, and they were right. Who knew? Anyway, but they go to rescue him. So they rescue him. The funny thing is, like when Jax leaves the headquarters in the beginning, he took his metal arms off. Like you see, he doesn't have his metal arms on. And even when he's talking to Old Girl, he didn't have his metal arms. But then when we're in this area and we see him get gassed, like Ruby gasses him, they take him away. No one's taking metal arms with him, but for whatever reason, they're laying on a table next to him as he's being tortured. That's the whole thing. Shao Kahn's there, and he's just like, we got ways of my Shadow Priests have ways of making you talk. So, he's gonna get tortured. They beat the shit out of him. They rough him up pretty good. So anyways, but his metal arms are right there. So when they come to rescue him, they end up giving him his metal arms back. Well, then Shao Kahn shows up with the cyborgs, and all these cyborgs pop out. The Lin Kuei cybernetic warriors. And so they fight, beat them all off. We're good. And then at one point, Ruby and Katana square off. And the whole time, Ruby, she's kind of heartless toward Jax. And Jax like, what we had real. And she's like, sorry, this was, just business. It wasn't personal. Her and Ruby and Katana have a fight. Katana beats her. And then they're about to walk out, and Shao Kahn's like, not so fast. More, another wave. Now there's even more. Like, first time there was like 4 Cyber Wars, now there's 8. And as they're closing in, Ruby grabs a lever, pulls it, and she's like, not this time, Shao Kahn. And a trapdoor opens up, and our defenders fall down on the floor. And then Ruby runs and jumps in after him, and then as it closes, Kahn blasts through it. And he's like, Inspector Gadget. He does that whole shtick. So, as they land on the ground, Jax is just like, or everyone's like, we can't trust her, but she's like, I'm now in just as much trouble as you guys. Like, Kahn wants me dead, just like he wants you guys dead. Follow me, I know how to get out of here. And so she leads them out. They meet with the others, they get back in their fighter jets. And of course, at this point, Jax is like, come with us. Like, no one else wants her, clearly, but Jax is like, come with us. And you feel like there's something there, but her whole thing is like, listen, I can't leave my people behind, and, there's no way I can make up for what I did, but clearly, hopefully, I can start redeeming myself now. Got you guys out of here. Now I need to stay here and try to help overthrow Kahn. And so Jax says a goodbye. Sonya pulls him away. They fly away. I don't know if Ermac's part of the group or not, but a bunch of red ninjas run behind and they start blasting up there. And she's just standing there for tearing her eye. They fly off. So we end the episode. Jax has got his metal arms back on, shirtless. And he's watching horses run wild in a sunset. And of course, Sonya comes up there and sees it, and they kind of have a moment, and they kind of snuggle, I guess. And then he basically says he's going to stay. It's his responsibility. He can't turn his back on the realm, and he knows what Shao Kahn is capable of, so he doesn't want to turn his back on him. So he's sticking around. And that's how the episode ends. I really like this episode. That's one thing, this show, I didn't realize it the first time I watched it, but now that I'm watching it back, I realize this is a theme that's going on throughout, is that we're seeing the effects of the war on all the defenders. Like, every one of them has had a moment now, almost, where they're just like, I'm done. I am tired of constantly having to fight. There's got to be more to it than this is. And so, I like that. And I feel like if this show would have went on further, it would have been great to kind of, I don't know, if they would have took that with it more psychological with it. Well, I don't know. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. As of recording this, because I record all this stuff and this shit gets distributed way out there, so it's way in the future before you guys even get it. So I think by the time this thing comes out, the movie Mortal Kombat 2 will already been released or whatever. Anyways, at this time though, the big news was at one point Netflix was going to buy Warner Brothers, but now it seems like Paramount's going to do it. I was excited initially when Netflix was going to be the one because they'll just pump out anything. And I was hoping, like, hey, maybe we'll get a Mortal Kombat, show. Maybe they'll start doing more of the Legends, stuff. But the thing about Netflix that sucks is they'll cancel shit just outright. That's why I quit watching Netflix, honestly. We only have it because my kid and girlfriend want to see it. Like, I personally could give a shit about Netflix. Like, I'm a bootlegger. I'll pirate that stuff. I'll go to a site and watch whatever I need to watch. They're not going to get my money or my, views or whatever. I'll get someone else. And I thought, we may get a Mortal Kombat show from Netflix. But who's to say when it got canceled after one season? It could have been the same as this. Just boom, one season, gone. And so now Paramount is kind of taking the reins. I'm really kind of hoping maybe this will be a better thing overall. Because I would personally love to see, a new Mortal Kombat series. And I'm not saying it has to be kid friendly. I'm also not saying it has to be straight up rated R either. You can find a middle ground. I'm cool with it. I'm good either way. You can give me any three of those choices. I'll be happy with it. But I would love to see just a long form Mortal Kombat series. Let it breathe. And I honestly, let's go old school with it. Let's go through the series again, but in long form. Let's build up. I want to see the full-on invasion, but I want to see the tournaments before that. I want to see every piece of this play out. I want to see the battle between Shinnok and Quan Chi against the Elder Gods. I want to see that battle play out. I want to see all these great stories. I want to see, an episode where we basically do Sub-Zero's mythologies, or maybe do a whole episode featuring the Special Forces. I know the games were panned, but you can't deny there's a good story there. So I don't know. I know this is supposed to be about reviewing this. I got off on topic altogether, but anyways, to wrap this thing up, decent episode. We got one episode left, and I will rank the episodes on that episode, and we'll put a bow on this series completely. So if you guys have seen this episode, Abandoned, give me your thoughts on it. What'd you think about it? I went to roll my eyes initially because I was like, my God, Jax is kind of a bitch in this show. Like, he whines and complains way too much about nothing. But this one seemed justified. Like, as soon as he's just like, I missed my grandfather's funeral, I was like, I can't bust his balls about that. All right, Jax, you won me over. And it's a good story. It's a good, it's a good episode. So, anyways, that's all I got for this one, guys. Thank you for watching, and until next time.